Tantra in the kitchen sink. All right. Did anybody read the description? Yeah, I'm ashamed. so now you know what it's about. But let's just pretend you don't know what it's about. And you just see Tantra and the kitchen sink. Okay, what is the association? What are you thinking about? What could this be about? Are you going to hear about? Yeah.
Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater or some expression.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
It's like the mundane life, isn't it? How to bring Tantra into the mundanities of your everyday life.
Having a dirty mind like myself, I usually think of sex. When I hear Tantra, I think of sex. Yeah. So if I saw that, I'd probably think it's some weird sexual positions for the kitchen, or some kitchen chakra that you can activate, and then you have multiple orgasms. Right. So the image that you might be having something like that, or sexier. Right, and that is wonderful, isn't it? I mean, Tantra is so special, and you can have these amazing experiences. It's transcendental, it's ecstatic, it's amazing, in fact. And this looks beautiful, and don't we all wish to have that kind of experience a lot? Do we?
Yes.
Yeah? Oh, good. All right, well, I'm really appealing, however, to the person who sees this more of the time. Right. So just an ordinary sink with a lot of dirty dishes in it. And, I'm sorry to say, my experience is I tend to see this a lot more than the other. This is the mundane, right? This is the daily life. This is what I see many times a day, every day. Weeks, months, years. I see a lot more of that. And is it not special? Well, maybe not. So the talk today is about answering the real question. The real question is not, is Tantra about sex, or what can I learn about sex, through sex, will there be sex, is there any sex? The question is Tantra about life? That's the real question. Is Tantra about life? Is it for life? Then is it for life? And my answer to that is yes, absolutely, but how do we do this thing? And I've had similar experience to you, I think, in going to classes and workshops and having extraordinary experiences and big openings, and I'm a new person, and oh wow, this is amazing. And then I go home, and a couple of days later I just see that, and life's very messy and chaotic, and I go, oh no, that was another life, what about now? And in my work, I'm really interested in integrating and making things relevant, and I feel that this is the real test. If you can be tantric when you see that, then you're getting somewhere. That's what I believe. Does this resonate? Right. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. And so we're really looking at Tantra for life. And this is a real path. It's the path of living Tantra. Practice is important. I have a background as a musician. Possibly you know this, but I had a 20-year career in classical music, and I know a thing or two about practice, discipline. It's very important. You can't go out and perform if you haven't practiced for years and years, actually. There's so much work that goes into a single performance. And if we want to be really artistic, and if we want to bring something beautiful out as an expression, practice is essential. It doesn't just happen. I mean, nature is lovely in that it produces masterpieces, apparently without practice, but even nature evolves, right? So this is a case of us committing to a practice of personal evolution through Tantra, and then not only having special practice sessions or special occasions or special anythings, but making all of life that practice, that evolution, that growth into artistry. Does that appeal? Yes. So how do we do that? Now it's the number one is attitude. Who here is completely new to Tantra? Perhaps apart from this weekend, but completely new. Okay, a few of you. Who amongst you has some experience? Not a lot, but some. Right? And who's like really, really super experienced? Like, yeah, I'm the master. Okay. Well, this is especially important if you're completely new to something like this, but also if you're starting to understand more about this. it's really the essence of it is the attitude. It all begins with attitude. So it's the approach to life and the attitude that you adopt. And there are certain things that we can say would represent a tantric attitude. So if you start engaging with Tantra, probably you start to feel more in your body and your senses, for example. Have you found that? Yes? You're more sensuous. You start to notice things that you see and you hear more. Your senses become more vibrant. What else? Any ideas? Some of you who have practiced a little bit. What are the attitudinal changes that you have noticed?
You become aware of the oneness of all.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you're not feeling yourself so separate from everyone else. You tend to see the connections a lot more. There's a certain empathy, perhaps.
Compassion.
Yeah, compassion.
Aware of their emotions.
Yeah, good. So there's an awareness of state and how we are in relation to others, other things in life, and so what else? So what I find with Tantra is I have to kind of be in the moment. That means dropping the past. That means I don't assume that I know anything, right? So I go out of my house in the morning and maybe I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I always do to go to new stages, for example. It's the same route, it's the same steps, and it's exactly the same. But if I'm adopting a tantric attitude, I will forget that I know this way. I will forget that I've been down that same path many, many times. It will be new to me. So I'll be a new person going out to buy my newspaper for the first time again every single day, and I will walk around and I will be delighted and curious, and I will notice things. So there is an attitude of having a learner's consciousness, learner's attitude, just curious and in wonderment and not assuming that I know anything. Now this makes everything very fresh, doesn't it? I start to notice that little flower or the leaf on the tree. I've seen the tree many times, so now I notice it again fresh. Now imagine what that does to your relationship. Now consider that you're with someone, you've been with someone maybe for a long time, but you just pretend you never met them before. So there they are in the morning, breakfast table, like, oh, look at you, oh, wow, you're amazing. Oh, yeah, oh, gosh, look at the light shining off your hair there. Oh, gorgeous. And also, you don't assume you know the character of the person. You don't assume that you know how they're going to react to something that you say. A lot of the time people come to me and say, oh, I couldn't possibly say that to my wife because I know what she's going to say. I know how she's going to react. Oh, I couldn't possibly do that. And then what happens is you're imprisoning yourself in a certain experience, and you're also making the other person a prisoner because you're telling them, well, I kind of have you boxed up. I know what you're like. I don't give you an opportunity to maybe be different. And so instead of perhaps being more authentic and finding ways to express what is true for us in the moment, not assuming we know what's going to happen next, we just go on living lives of automation. We become automatic. Anybody have any experiences along these lines? Yeah, you know about this one. So there's a real attitude of wonderment, curiosity, freshness, dropping the assumptions, dropping the history, the memories. If you need to forgive something, you've been hurt, your partner has hurt you, you need to find ways to heal that and forgive that and not hold it like, remember what you did to me like 2 years ago? I still remember, I haven't forgotten, you're the same person as you were. Just really find ways to heal and to drop things and not hold on to the past. So that would be a major way of you being very tantric, right? Very tantric in that moment when you buy the newspaper, very tantric in that exchange with your partner. That is real living tantra. So no special breathing and poses and asanas and whatever. It's just really your attitude, your approach. And I really like this saying here. And who would have thought Einstein, right? In a tantra talk? But hey, there are only 2 ways, he says, to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, and the other is as though everything is a miracle. Now this comes from scientists, but it is a tantric sentiment. So again, in Tantra we can look at the divine and remember all that special quality or divinity, and we call each other names like Shiva and Shakti, and that's very, very beautiful and wonderful. But what about Elena and John and Nick And Tracy, is that not special then? Do they have to be a special name in a ceremony or something? So just look at the people as though they're miraculous in every moment. You know, the bus driver is a miraculous being, the newsagent, the person who gives you the coffee at Starbucks. They're a miraculous being. So just remembering that, and remembering that you just being here now is a miraculous occasion. You're a miracle. This is incredible what's happening here, right? So when you start tuning into this experience of life, everything is completely transformed. And you really do see with eyes as though everything is a miracle. Do you feel the difference already? Yeah, I'm getting shivers on my spine. Talking about it is really special. Right, so what is so hard about adopting such an attitude? Is there anything that you could possibly think would stop you? Anyone?
Fear.
Fear? Fear of what?
The outcome.
The outcome? Sure? Yeah?
Pressure,
Pressure?
social, from the society.
Uh-huh. How do you mean? That you have to be a particular way and you couldn't possibly be like this, right? So what is that exactly? Because I would say, well, that's just a lot of thinking about, well, I think that, or I believe that, you know, I'm expected to do something else, or I'm afraid of, just means I believe that something bad would happen, or I worry that something bad would happen. It's just a lot of thinking. So what we're doing when we're adopting a more tantric attitude, and starting to see things in this way, is really choosing our thoughts and choosing where to place our attention. So when you start harnessing your attention and also having some intention, some conscious intention, well, what it is you actually want to think? Do you have any choice in it, or does it have to be what it is? When you move out of this automation and you don't assume that even your thoughts have to be the same thoughts that you've always had, then actually you're moving into the space of meditation. And again, you hear meditation and you might have a picture of somebody in a nice yoga studio with the incense and the candles, and they have a lovely expression on their face. That's very, very lovely. And also you can meditate all the time. You can meditate now, right now. You can meditate when you're eating, sitting, drinking, sleeping, having sex. That's all right. So meditation, again, is this ability to find a certain state. It's about you being in a certain state of awareness and a state in your being where you're harnessing your attention and your intention. And this time I have some lovely quotations from a rather more tantric person, Osho. So he says some very interesting things about meditation. Tantric experience means neither to be repressive nor to be indulgent. Tantric experience is possible only if you move deep into meditation, and otherwise not. When you become very, very still, silent, aware, alert, then only is it possible that you will know something of Tantra. Otherwise, Tantra can also become an excuse for indulgence. And your name, a religious name. Osho wasn't into religion in a big way. And you can move into indulgence behind the name of Tantra. Names won't make much change, and your being needs change. Is this landing? Yes? Are you feeling it? So Tantra is not about fancy techniques and, oh yeah, I'm tantric now, I'm special, I do this thing. It's really the essence of it is meditation. And meditation is not something you do in the morning and you're finished with it. Meditation is something that you have to go on living every moment of your life. Exactly what we're talking about now. Walking, sleeping, sitting, talking, listening. It has to become a kind of climate. A relaxed person remains in it. A person who goes on dropping the past remains meditative. And we continue. My meditation is simple. It does not require any complex practices. It is simple. It is singing. It is dancing. It is sitting silently. Are you familiar with Osho meditations, the dynamic one, Kundalini, and all those things? Now, you might think, oh, how could he say that when he's created something so structured and carefully thought out? And well, there are those too, because it's important to keep practice happening. I mean, practice is good, it's a dedicated practice, it's a structured practice. But also, coming back to the living Tantra, where everything you do, every expression, every human expression is meditation. So, here you are in this talk. How can we become meditative? Who feels meditative right now, right this minute? Oh, quite a lot. Okay. Who would like to share what makes it so? If you could possibly describe, what is it? Yeah.
I'm sitting really uncomfortably and I'm trying to meditate myself to accept it and allow my body to...
Okay, so there is acceptance, isn't there?
Yes.
Yes. So you're acknowledging that it's very uncomfortable. I can see it. and you're accepting that and you're sitting with it. Are you doing anything special to help yourself do that?
Yeah, it's like as if I'm trying to control my mind and
Yes.
relax.
Yes. So you're giving yourself a kind of instruction.
A discipline.
A discipline. And now if he's giving himself an instruction, it has to come from somewhere bigger than that part that needs instruction. Does that make sense? Right, so there is a part that is thinking, oh, I'm uncomfortable, I don't like this. And we could engage with that and make a big story around, oh, I hate these places, you know, they never have enough chairs, oh, damn the organizers. And one can get really, you know, fraught with this. Or we can go, oh yeah, it's uncomfortable, I get it, I feel it, okay, great. And actually I want to focus my attention on something else. And there is enough space somewhere in there, in my mind, in my consciousness, so I can do that. Does anybody else have this experience or have had it at some point? Does this relate? Yeah, okay. So this is the essence of mindfulness, and I'm sure this is something you've all heard about. Has everybody heard of mindfulness? Yeah? Okay, so this is, it comes from a Buddhist tradition, and Tantrism and Buddhism are very close together. It's a very similar foundation. And the essence of mindfulness is being in the present moment, coming to the body and the senses, and also finding some space mentally where we don't completely identify with the experience, but we observe as an experiencer of the experience. We don't identify with the thoughts or the sensations or the emotions, anything that's going on around us. We still fully experience it, but still we're more than that. We are the eternal consciousness experiencing. And guess what? That is a tantric meditation. Right? I'm sure you've heard a lot about the masculine, feminine polarity and the talks and the workshops here. Have you? Yes? Yeah? So you have the consciousness side and then the energy side. The consciousness side is that empty awareness of everything. Space. Okay, infinite space. And then you have the fullness of the experience, which is the feminine. And so by adopting this mindful approach and starting to practice mindfulness in every moment, even in this talk now, you're doing something super tantric. You are embodying in that moment both the masculine and the feminine polarity. Yeah? So how about we do a little bit of this now, just as a little exercise. We don't even have to do it as an exercise like this, but it can just be an awareness that, you know, we get so bogged down by details and the stresses and the strains of what we have to do. Oh, I have to finish this report, I have to write that email. Oh, I've got to rush to get the children. And we kind of forget how vast we are. So again, as a daily practice, you would just remind yourself of, oh yeah, there was that. Remember that feeling. And this is where the tantric practice or the meditation practice comes into your daily life. And when you start feeling the vastness of the universe and you as a miraculous being, then well, things are maybe not so stressful anymore. And do you see why mindfulness is called on in a big way? Because it's a major stress release tool, right? What else does it do for you? What other benefits? Even now with this exercise, what has it done for you that you would say is beneficial? Anything?
Slows down.
Sorry?
Slowed me down.
Slowed you down. How's that good? Yeah? So you feel more relaxed? Yeah? Good?
Calmness.
Calm?
gets rid of obsessive thoughts.
Yeah.
Clearness of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Clarity of mind and just more centered, maybe. Yes.
It puts things in perspective.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know, the biggest thing for me was that I smiled after this, that I knew I was capable to get there.
Yeah.
So just being able to smile.
Yeah, it gives you confidence. But yeah, I'm here. It's an affirmation of, yes, I am here. This is me. Yeah, great. So then what we are doing here, again, is our harnessing our attention, and we have some intention around it. I want to feel the room. I want to feel the universe. I want to do this. That's all you have to do is tell yourself that from, that space that you have in your mind. So what this does is it cultivates more of those qualities of peace of mind, relaxation, maybe more centered, maybe more belief in yourself, or confidence, a tool to be just more present in whatever you do in that conversation, that decision you're going to make, how you're going to be with your partner, with your boss. So what that does is it transforms you, doesn't it? You do this little thing in the fraction of a second, and you're new, you're fresh, you're not the same as before. You just transform something. And transformation, another word for alchemy, is what Tantra is about. Right, and at this point, I'm going to tell you a story. So this story comes from the lovely Kenneth Ray Stubbs. Does anybody know Kenneth Ray Stubbs? No? He's known as a sexual shaman. He's based in Arizona. Incredible life story. I won't tell you all of it, we don't have time. But he's one of the fathers of tantric massage in the West as we know it, together with Joseph Kramer. I had the delight of training with him and visiting him at his place in Arizona. Really awesome guy. So he knows a thing or two about Tantra, and he shares this story which I'm going to embellish for your entertainment. Right, so once upon a time, there was a man on a path. So he walked. Was on his path. He was pretty happy about his path. Oh yeah, I'm going places. Yeah, oh wow, nice day. So he walked and walked and walked and walked. And all seemed to be fine until at some point his path was blocked by a gigantic bush. I mean, really gigantic. Not only was it gigantic, it was also poisonous. Right? So here he is in front of this gigantic poisonous bush. And the man, your everyday, ordinary man, goes, oh, no way. I'm going right back. So he turns around. And he goes right back, retracing his steps. I forget that bad idea. Oh, well, I wasn't meant to be. So that's man number one. Man number two goes on the path. Walking. Oh yeah, nice day. I'm on my way to Playful. This is great. And guess what? His path is blocked by a gigantic poisonous bush. What do you think? Is it going to be a bit different now? It is. So this man goes, poisonous bush. Let me think. And so he looks up to the heavens and looks at the stars and looks around, looks in his pockets. If he's been a Boy Scout or something, he might have a pocket knife or some strange device to help himself. But anyway, he doesn't give up. And he searches around and he finds a way to go around the bush, right? So he finds a way and he carves a way around the bush. So he avoids the bush. He evades the bush. Goes around, okay, it's a bit long-winded, it's a bit tired, and, not quite as bouncy as before, but he's made it, and okay, so he's by that, I made it. Phew, that was close. No, the tantrika, yes, the tantra practitioner goes on the path. Alright, well, it's not happen now. Okay, the tantric practitioner goes on the path, very nice, oh yeah, look, oh, everything fresh in the moment, the light, the green leaves, the breath, the sensation, his toes, his feet, he feels everything intensely. But he comes to the place where you know what he's going to find, right? He's going to find the gigantic poisonous bush. Right, do you know this story? I hope you know. Well, what do you think he's going to do?
Cut through the bush.
Well, that could have been the case. But what he does is he goes, oh look, there's a poisonous bush. I know, I'll eat it. So he eats the bush. Yum, yum, yum. I think it was not. Now you weren't expecting that, were you? Right? He would eat the poisonous bush. What kind of thing is that? Well, that is alchemy, you see. That is what Tantra is about. Tantra is the science of alchemical transformation. So it gives you the tools to transform everything into fuel for your evolution. Okay? And I'm saying this as a story and, perhaps a bit mythical like that, but it's real, it's a science, okay? If you've been to some of the Taoist alchemy workshops, perhaps you've learned a little bit about that already, okay, transmutation and so on. And there's another technique called the double breath, comes from Swami Charanata. So there are practices around alchemical transformation where everything is considered energy, and with consciousness we can change energy. And there's no such thing as a bad energy. It's just energy, and we can transform it and use it as fuel for our evolution. But even if you don't go very technical and scientific, remember the attitude. So you can just adopt the attitude of saying yes to experience, saying yes to everything, and not let it stop you, or not necessarily find a way around it, but actually go right into it, involve yourself, trusting that you have the tools to make it a blessing and a nourishment for yourself. So what I'm saying is, yes, say yes to life, all of life, including the kitchen sink. Yeah, because it's like when you go on a journey, you know the saying, when you're packing everything, you need the special shoes and the special clothes and the special gadgets and the chargers for the gadgets, and the saying goes, oh, packing everything but the kitchen sink. Well, if you're my mother or a tantrika, you would get everything and the kitchen sink. So Tantra is a path where you take absolutely everything with you. You know, your body, your emotions, your thoughts, good experiences, bad experiences, like everything. Everything is transformed into what? What is it for?
Bliss.
Sorry?
Bliss.
Bliss? Yeah.
Like
Love. Yeah, it's all love. So the Taoists say this, the Tantrics say this as well. So we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So why you're here is because your soul wants to grow. And so all these experiences are energy for growth. Your body is a factory to process energy, have experiences and to grow. And I'd like to finish with a poem, The Guest House. Is this familiar? It goes like this. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Yes. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. And this is from Rumi. So just to recap, you Tantra as a life path, a path of living Tantra. Step number 1 is attitude. Change your attitude. Number 2, enter into the space of meditation, just all the time. Number 3, start to notice the transformation. Say yes to experience and ask yourself, how can I transform this? And just for a moment, what I'd like you to do is just to think for a moment, what would be your own personal poisonous bush? What is your own personal poisonous bush? What is there now in your life? Just think about it now. Okay? Just take a few moments to think, what is the thing that I feel is like really toxic, I really don't want, could I possibly avoid that? I really hate this, I don't like it. stopping me doing this, stopping me doing that. And I'm going to do something very novel. I'm going to ask you to talk about it with the person. So turn to somebody close to you. Okay? Find somebody close to you. Possibly somebody you haven't met before. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes each to talk about it. So you're going to have 5 minutes each to talk about it. When one person speaks, I want the other person to really listen, okay? Pay attention. And feel empathy, compassion for this person. And perhaps together come up with something. Is there a blessing in this? Is there something that I can take away from it as nourishment for my soul? Is there something good in that? Alright. I'm going to ring my bells. And so the person with the longest hair can start. That was fun. Who has the longest hair now? Okay. Yeah, just on this side. Alright. Yeah. So just quietly now. Okay. Okay, so listening please. Have you decided who's first? Yes. So the person with the longest hair is going to have a few minutes to share something about themselves, about their private, very personal poisonous bush. And perhaps in that sharing, find some hidden blessing or some way in which they could involve themselves more with that situation and somehow come out all the better for it. Okay? In just a few minutes. And I will ring the bell when it's time to finish. Okay, so person number one goes now. The other person just listens and encourages. Alright, so hopefully you've got some seeds of transformation in there. And now let's swap. Okay, so the person with the shorter hair is going to have a few minutes to share something about their own personal poisonous bush, and perhaps in that sharing find some grain of positive, how this could be turned around into something positive. Okay, here we go. We have time maybe for a tiny bit of sharing. There was an interesting thing that came up about jealousy. That, oh, jealousy is my thing. Terrible. And it is terrible. It's a terrible feeling. You know, it's not the jealous, it's the criticism of ourselves because we're jealous. So we're jealous, and that's not bad enough. So, I feel bad for being jealous. And, you know, one of the things that can be done with that is get that intensity. You know, jealous is a very intense emotion. Right, so that's a lot of food, right? That's a lot of bush to eat. So if you start treating it a little bit like a bush that you could eat, you could go, oh gosh, that's such an intensity. Now, what else could I put this intensity into? How about I love myself a bit more? Because what is jealousy is we're feeling less than. I'm lacking something, or he or she's better than me, or I'm not good enough. So that's a real invitation to love yourself more. With that intensity, not just when you feel good about yourself because you're having a nice hair day, but when you're feeling really bad and you're criticizing yourself, feeling jealous, you go, oh boy, I so love myself. So love myself. And just bring that intensity in there. Just very, very brief sharing. Anybody, just one person maybe. Yeah.
Actually, I would really love also your perspective because I'm kind of stuck.
Okay.
I am going through quite a challenging period of my life, but it's not the challenges in my life that are the bush. The bush is really the anger I'm stuck in, and a sense of this is not how it should be. I'm unable.
Yes.
I'm unable to accept things as they are, and I feel a huge sense of disappointment and disillusionment that things are not how I planned, how I wanted, how I aspired them.
Is this about yourself rather than somebody else?
Yes.
It's about yourself.
Me, my life, my thing.
Yeah.
So this isn't, oh, this person didn't do what I want. This is me and me.
Okay. So what I would say with anger is a fantastic energy for doing things, the kinetic energy. It's an active energy, it's like do something, right? It's very fiery and directive and wants to make some action happen. You know, and it's very rapid as well. It's like boom, you know, dynamic. Right. So the thing with anger is to find what is the anger about. Is it about a wrongdoing, as you're suggesting? Or is it about some truth that is not being expressed? Now, if it's about your plans going wrong, we'll club surrender to the universe and find perhaps a deeper truth to follow, or a deeper surrender in you.
Basically, my life did not turn out how I wanted it to.
Yeah, well, nobody's does. Sorry, mine didn't. I was a classical musician. What am I doing here? I wasn't planning this. So life doesn't turn out as we plan it. Life's what happens when we make other plans. But that's the beauty. That's you surrendering your will to the divine will, which is your will from a higher place. It's nobody else's. So perhaps tune into this higher, deeper, other aspect of you that is perhaps not being channeled right now, is what I would say. And then this anger, actually commit to that. Say, okay, so if I'm meant to be doing something else, I want to connect with that. What is the true purpose? What is the true life for me? Okay, I'll do that. I commit to that. And then the universe will help you. You'll be surprised. And come see me later if you want to talk more, because I'm aware of time. So what I'll say today, make it a daily practice, and to help you, to give you a little boost, as in kind of cosmic boost to get you started. Just for you today, you can sign up to receive a free guided meditation bundle from me. So these are meditations that I've recorded, completely free, only to you guys here for coming to the talk, just to thank you and to give you something to continue to practice with and to become familiar with this stuff. So there's a lady at the back who's raising her hand now. Go give your name and email to her, and I'll send you the bundle if you'd like that, or go upstairs to my stall and say, we've just come from the talk, we'd like to get the recordings, please, and they'll tell you what to do. All available to you. Or visit elenaangel.com. There's a new membership site coming. It's not going to be free when the membership site is operative, so now's your chance. Thank you so very much for coming. I'm absolutely delighted to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elena. That was a fascinating, warmly delivered talk, so thank you.